There we go. All right. Let's see what's up for today. Let's get the ball rolling. I hope that everyone who is here now or watching this somehow at another time, I hope that you have a good time and that things are going well for you. I'm feeling pretty good. Usually feel pretty good on Fridays because it's a nice day before the weekend, right? Fridays are good, usually. Anyway, I have a few things I wanted to try mess around with yet on my SVG library. I'm looking to add Bezier curves and arcs, and that's surprisingly difficult, but it should be fun. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Good to see you here. Hope you're doing well today. All right. Definitely a chill Friday, so you're quite happy. Nice. I'm into it. Chill Fridays are the best Fridays. I'm feeling pretty much the same way. I was, I've been increasing my confidence to finally start posting and asking questions in the Clojure Slack community, and man, they're so helpful over there. So I was messing around with my library a little bit this morning, and was able to figure out another little thing that cleans up the organization of it a bit. So that was satisfying. I've got a nice weekend lined up, a little bit of projects I'm going to be finishing up with my friend, a little bit of packing, a little bit of design work for my compact furniture system. So I'm all good to go. Anyway, that's me right now. I changed the color of these outlines too. Sounds like I've been super productive. Well, I don't want to oversell things, but I'm feeling pretty good about things right now. I don't know when I Hey, Green Coder. Look at that. Someone just popped in and gave a follow. Green Coder, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hopefully you can hear me saying thank you. Sometimes people have their stuff muted. Hey, there you are. How's it going? I hope you're doing well today. Oh dear. Sorry, I have to send a message. I'm derailing myself immediately. Done. There we go. All right. What brings you here, Green Coder? Presumably code of some kind. Wish you could come more often, but it's 3 a.m. here. Oh, 3 a.m. Insomnia. Oh, man. Well, in that case, I'm sorry that you're here. Insomnia is never fun. 3 a.m. That's an early start. What, if you don't mind me asking, where in the world is it 3 a.m. right now? I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say, but time zones aren't immediately obvious in my brain. Taiwan. Yeah, okay. Well, that's far enough away that the time will be pretty different. So I'm sorry that you have insomnia, but I'm intrigued. And, every once in a while people come into the stream from various spots around the globe, and that's just so exciting. It's really cool. And, well, I'm just glad you tuned in. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. It's okay, you're fixing many GitHub issues in the meantime. Yeah, there's one thing about early hours or really, really late hours is that there's unlikely to be anyone awake to bother you, right? So you can kind of focus quite a bit, at least hopefully. True enough. Oh, well, there we go. We're good. Do you use Clojure at all, Green Coder? Do you have other languages of choice? All right, let's see. So what I'd like to do, I've been trying to expand the capabilities of the path section of my library here. Clojure's your main language. Oh, nice. Cool stuff. So the caveat I give sometimes to professional Clojure developers who come on here is that I am self-taught, so there might be unfortunate blind spots in my approach. So be gracious, but if you notice stuff that I'm doing that's silly, you can chime in. I mean, no pressure either way, of course, but I'm not, I won't claim to be the biggest expert on Clojure. So if there's these esoteric questions you have, unfortunately, I might not be able to answer. However, I am capable enough to work on these libraries that I've got here. So I think that's at least something. Right, so I have this, I have Bezier curves and a bunch of things related to the path elements. So what I want to do is set up I want to turn the watcher on. I think that'll be helpful, and just get that workflow kind of quote unquote bootstrapped for a moment here. So I'll just do CLJ watcher should do the trick, and I need to pass in a file, right? I do. So I have to go examples/examples basics, I should say, I guess. Ooh, yeah, Mike, that's a good question. Ouch, jeez, poking myself in the face. What have I done? Oh, what am I? Normally I'm not. Well, this is the wrong. I don't know why that. Oh, here. This is why. There we go. Cameras, videos in front of the REPL. Oh, right. Yeah. So just that. Fair enough. I'm not going to be doing much here, so usually I don't worry about it. I usually have my code working like this, where I'm actually. So I've got my org file here, and I do all of my REPL work here. So more often than not, you'll be able to see things just fine. All I'm doing here, let me try to launch this for a second and clear up the screen so you can at least see what I'm trying to do. So I'm just trying to, and I'm having a brain fart right now. Normally I know how to do this. I set up this little watcher script sort of thing in this watcher namespace here, and I just don't remember how I invoke it. Is it that? No. Oh, right. True. Okay. Here's what's going on. Yeah, so normally, so once I have this watcher going, I'm going to bring it back down kind of behind my face here, because it's not anything particularly, I mean, it might spit out errors here and there, but usually it's not a big deal. The reason this isn't loading properly now is because I left this code in a state that isn't working right here. I'm trying to make a new interface. Well, I'm trying to change up how you call. Hey, oh shoot, sorry if I don't get your name right. Pepe, Pepe Ga, Pepe, Python? No, I'm writing in Clojure. Not sure if you've heard of that language before. That's Clojure, Clojure. Familiar with that at all? It's a Lisp language. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Not sure if I said that already. Is Python your main language? You've never heard of it? Oh, it's a pretty cool one. A pretty cool language, if I do say so myself. You're born with Java and Python. Well, so Clojure is a language that runs on top of the JVM. So it's at least tangentially related to Java in some sense. This is its main site here, Clojure. Feel free to look into it. It's a lot of fun. If you have some questions about it, if you're sticking around and watching what I'm doing, feel free to ask questions. I do my best to answer them or point you in the right direction. But yeah, welcome. Anything in particular that you're working on lately? It looks like a sketchy Hindi site. I'm not sure what you're talking about. This here? Clojure.org? I don't know what you mean. This is the site. It looks fine to me. This. Oh, this? Oh, you're talking about this. No, this is the code for this is just it's just a little for loop that I did there. Yeah, so this is an SVG drawing that I did just for kicks. It's not related to the Clojure site specifically. So I'm working on this library. Okay, you can make better. That's fine. I mean, let's not be rude here. There's no need for that. I mean, it's fine that you can make a better one. That's okay. This is just a demonstration of the library, so. And by the way, like, it's fine that you can make better ones. That's good to have good design skills. Nice. So do you do what kind of projects do you work on with Python? Clojure doesn't have so many circles. You're writing notes? Notes about Clojure, or are you studying right now? All right, let's see. I'm going to abandon this variadic thing for a second here because this will at least work. Oops. Or it should at least work. Okay, let's give that a shot. Let's try to... Okay, so I don't understand what you're talking about. You try to keep things relevant or sensible in some way, okay? You work on, oh, how do you pronounce that? Girouette? 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 Girouette. Okay, cool. So I haven't looked into that library. I've seen it recently. I tried playing around with, there's another one called Garden. I tried Garden a bit. I kind of abandoned it because I try to keep CSS minimal. But yeah, that is a cool looking project from what I remember. And oh, Pepe, I misunderstood. You're making a project called Alcohol in Your Blood. Is it so? It's like you bring it to a party or something like that, and you say, okay, you should drink some water now, kind of thing. Girouette's transforming strings into garden. Oh, okay, that's cool. Huh. That could be pretty useful, actually. Nice stuff. Okay, let's see here. Let's get this watcher working, please, somehow, maybe. Oh, I forgot to tangle this and save it. There we go. Ugh. What's happening here? I'm making silly mistakes, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. All right, let's see here. So the strings that Girouette takes in, are they, so does it take CSS strings and produce the garden syntax from it? Or a data structure from a CSS string? Is that how that works? Okay, there, I think that's working now. Ah, Tailwind class names to see it, to garden. Gotcha. Nice. All right, let's see. So I've got a bit of a watcher going here. Let's try to pair that with cd dev svg clj examples live server. Basics. There we go. All right, so what I want to do now is start adding to the basics the some of the path things that I've been trying to work on. So all of this is fine. I would like to probably just do it like this. svgclj.path refer. Let's see here. Let's do line path, rectangle path, polygon path. Oh, I don't need to do that one. Polyline path is probably good. Start with that just to sanity check some of these things. So one thing about SVG is you're given a bunch of primitives like circle, rectangle, ellipse, line, polygon, polyline, and then path. And the path element has its own syntax, and you basically just stuff a complicated string into a path element, and you can draw complicated shapes. But the problem with that is you have to, if you're making an SVG library that can do transforms and stuff like that, you have to be able to pull apart the string and manipulate all the elements of the string. So I made a I call it a DSL here, but maybe it isn't strictly speaking a domain-specific language, but it might be a good start. So, or at least, I mean, I can change the name of it. It's not a big deal. But you tear a string apart into its constituent commands. So M is move, L is line, A is arc. And then there's also things like Q is Bezier curves. Oh, they're further up here. There's a few different things for different curve types. So I want to make functions that let the user draw those sorts of things while still being compatible with the transforms of all the other elements. So it can be a little tricky. So I'm going to look into how I do that. There really is a DSL. A green coder, are you the one who commented on one of my tweets about? Ah, okay, there we go. There we go. I don't need to refer to your real name if you don't want it, but it started with a V, is that correct? Am I on the right track there? Trying to connect the dots in my head here. Don't want to be creepy or imposing, so whatever name you prefer is the name I'll use if I'm talking with you. No problem on my end. Okay, cool. Cool. Right, so this path thing I have here. Maybe it's just better. Maybe I'll just try to actually generate an example that shows this a little bit. That might just be, this is all visual stuff anyway, right? So why not make it? So here, let's take a line and let's make an equivalent by doing line path. I think this will work. Perhaps not. Let's see. Let's get into this namespace and poke around. Yeah, there's some kind of error, so that's okay. I have to figure out what I've done wrong. You know, that happens quite regularly. That's all fine. That's fine even. Circles is fine. The basics are even fine. I think that's even fine. Okay, so it's right at the spit. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Boy, oh boy, huh? Great. Does it work if I don't have this in there? Is that causing problems? Sorry, I just need to refresh my memory here on how I did this, that's all. Why do I compose using the thread last macro instead of thread first? So the quick answer is by design, all of the transform type things here, so let's take translate for a minute here, works the approach that I landed on was that you put the order of arguments is all of the things that parameterize the transformation in a either directly like this or in a vector, and then a variadic number of elements for that you could pass into that transform. I just found the thread last lined up reasonably well with things like if you want to, let's say, map a transformation over a sequence, you can just write map and then the transformation. And if it's thread last, you don't have to do anything strange with it. Although I will admit there's if you have to do some string related stuff in your pipeline, then you get weird situations where some stuff is thread first and some stuff would be thread last. I would admit that maybe I don't know necessarily the best approach overall, but I landed on just thread last because this made sense to me. Right, so you parameterize the transform here, and then you pass in any number of elements, a single one or a list of elements, and all that kind of stuff. That was the idea, and it works. So you can do translates and rotates all in a row like that as well, right? that's the whole reason. Hopefully that makes some sense. I've briefly looked into, there are some libraries that are kind of designed to add a little bit to the thread macros. There's, I think it's called a wand or something, where you have it's basically thread as, but you thread something f through, I don't know, if you wanted to do, I don't know, map like this. I'm this is a horribly contrived example. I don't even know, but it's basically thread as. Anyway, I've decided to go to not use external libraries like that, just to try and keep the dependencies down a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It seems reasonably fine to me. Where was I? Oh yeah, trying to get this to work, of course. Always something. Do you often use the multi-arity on multiple elements? Sorry, so do you mean multi-arity? So let me understand the terms here. Is multi-arity, I think this, right, is variadic arity, right? But this is multi-arity, right? There's none. Then you've got, let's say, a 1. Is that, you mean variadic? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so transform x, y, and elements. Yeah, so every one of my transform functions has that form, and so does sorry, there we go. Most of these objects here don't contain anything, so it's just a hiccup. It returns a particular, basically a hiccup form, but stuff like the G tag here takes and content, because you can pass it a single thing or you can pass it a bunch of things. The reason I did that was to try and mimic a lot of how hiccup will let you do lists of things or single things directly, so you can kind of do whatever. If that's actually like a really poor form, I'm willing to change my approach in thinking on that stuff, but I didn't know necessarily if it was good or bad, and it made sense to me at the time of writing. It's not that big of a deal if it needs changing, you know, but I don't know, it made sense to me. All right, why? What's happening here? Let's look at basics. Why is Polygon Path nil? That's strange to me. Let's have a look here. Prefer not to give an opinion at 3 a.m. Fair enough. Something's going wrong here, and I'm not sure what. I wonder if I, Oh. I did something wrong. 3 a.m. when the best opinions come out. Certainly the riskiest. Let's see here. Getting all kinds of messages. There we go. Sorry, I get distracted on Fridays sometimes. That's, well, actually, I get distracted other days too. Don't want to make it seem like it's it's only a Friday thing. All right, this, I'm pretty sure I made a mistake in interning things here. I think something went a little bit wrong with regards to this. Let's see. Let's see if this will actually yield something useful. Okay, well that's not working, unfortunately. I will have to fix that. I'm sure I can get it to work. I just I'll just have to make it work properly. That's okay. Let's see here then. Probably what I can do is Polygon Path. Whoops. So no, I don't want that. There we go. Let's try to fix this, please. Ugh. All right. Just restart it. No big deal. Will it load? That's the question. Oh, right. This is why I have to do exclude. I think that works, kinda. All right, let's see now. There we go. Okay, now we're on to something, kinda. All right, let's get this ball rolling again. There we go. We've got something. Show debug doesn't work. Oh yes. Okay. Right. So this is none of the transforms are actually working because my interning thing doesn't actually work yet. So I'll have to fix it. That's okay. It's totally fixable. But for the sake of getting a little bit of visual stuff involved here, let me change my namespaces a little bit, or requires, I should say. Let's exclude. Oh, let's do it in the common order. Bounds, translate, rotate, scale. Do you really have to separate the require for CLJ and CLJS? No, the only reason I was doing it was laziness. So originally I had on .main. Let's have a quick peek here. So this is main. The only thing I have is I temporarily got rid of data.xml in the Clojure script context because I was having issues with it working. I have to look into that yet, but that's not for generating SVG, that's for ingesting SVG. So that's not the first thing I need to worry too much about. On this example thing here, the only reason I was separating it here was I was being lazy and I did refer all, which you cannot do Clojure script side, as far as I understand. So instead of, I don't know why I decided to do it this way. I think it was to demonstrate, because the idea is this is an example document. I think it was to demonstrate that if you're on Clojure, you could potentially refer all, but if you're on Clojure script, you could do it this way. But saying it out loud, I kind of realize it's a little bit silly and I should probably just stick to one, because why not, right? So now that I'm here saying that, let's just make it so. Because yeah, I don't need, oh boy, it is it's not that clean, but for the time being, until I have more time to care about this. Yeah, this is ugly, but whatever. And I don't need to put refer on that line there. That's silly too. Oop. Did I do something wrong? No? Okay. I guess maybe my indent stuff is broken too. My life, it's a mess. Who knew? There we go. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, I have to actually load the transforms now. So those are excluded here. And let's include them here. Oop. Missed one. What? Oh, you know what? This is silly now. Boy, oh boy. I'm having a bit of a day. Can you tell? Okay. I think I need to reorganize some of this stuff a little bit. After rotate, add a square bracket. So my weekend project is going to be turning on par edit or par infer so that I'm not manually doing brackets anymore, because it's about time that I actually sat down and forced myself to learn that particular tool a little bit better. Sorry, I need to think about what I've just done wrong now for a second. Transforms, refer all of that. That's what I want. Path, I want to refer those things. Main, I want just these. That looks correct. And I shouldn't need to do excludes anymore. Okay. Centroid already Oh, is that because let's just restart it one more time. Your eyes are wrong. I I don't blame you. It's hard to follow the brackets and parens on screen sometimes. No worries. I am not bothered. There we go. We got something. All right. Uh, uh, Friday. Okay. Where did I put, where's style from again? Oh. It actually is in main. I forgot that. That's just my bad. All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. We've got something. Okay, so it looks like circles isn't rendering, and I'm not sure why that would be, but so be it. No circles? I don't know what happened. Should. Well. Oh, is this it? There we go. That's what it is. All right, I made another mistake. There's the circles. Now we're good. And I know what that mistake was, so I will go briefly fix it. For real? There we go. There it is. All right. It's this when here. Should be. Oh, no. This, I wrapped the content shouldn't. Actually, I have to do it. I'll just do it this way. If scale, wrap the content in a group tag with the scale applied. Otherwise, just slam the content in there. Is that right? Looks right. Okay, I think that's good. Let's just eval the whole thing again, why not? Okay, now let's see if this will do anything. Line path. There we go. Okay, now it looks like it's working. Now we can get to the point. Yes, okay. So these two elements here, this one and this one, are two different elements. Well, I mean, obviously they're different, but they're represented in two different ways, I guess is the more appropriate way to say that. We've got the first one here, inside here, and it is a line element. So it has some particular properties. It has x1, y1, x2, y2, and I forgot to round the values, but whatever. I'll get that later too. And then this one here, it looks equivalent, right? Visually it's the same, but it's represented instead with a single path element and a D string with an M and a L command inside there. Again, I forgot to round the values, but for the sake of this, it's fine for now. So that's kind of an interesting thing, is basically for every element that exists inside SVG, you could kind of make a replacement for it in just a path. So I'm kind of wondering what level of sophistication I should build around the ability to merge things. So let's say you have a path element and a regular circle, and the user wants to just merge them. Should the circle be coerced into some kind of path element? I could do that. I'm not entirely sure what the right thing to do is, but anyway, there's potential, to say the least. And clearly the at least for the simple parts of the path stuff, my transforms are working on it, which is really satisfying. That's nice. I'm happy with that. So what would be good? What would be good? Right, so I could, this I think will break the, I don't think the transforms will work, but I could even do circle path and save. Oops. Oh, it doesn't exist, right? I forgot to pull it in here. Yeah, so currently my so I can make a circle element, and I can make a circle that's built up of two arc elements, but my current implementation for finding the bounds and the centroid of arcs is not, it doesn't work yet. So that's obviously not going to lead to good results. So the arc is surprisingly more difficult than I ever thought it would be. There's a, like, it's the most complex in terms of the properties you have to put into it. So that's fun. But here, let me show you what a circle looks like in a path. There's, you have a move, and this move here moves, like, that's one of the points on the side. It's like, you can imagine it as the 0, 0 point. It's where the radius hits the x-axis before any rotation. Then you've got the whole A call is this A 80 80 blah 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 blah, and then Z at the end there, paired with the other one here. So you have two arcs, one goes up, one goes down. You put them together and it makes a circle. I mean, not too surprising, but the arc definitions are tricky, and I don't have a great solution for it yet. But that's not any one of your, that's just the thing I'll have to figure out, really, is all. But it's satisfying that, so that, like, the goal in terms of the path stuff is to be able to have, and I don't know if I'll do it by calling all these functions like this, circle dash path. It might be cool to have it like you pass in an optional like a map of options, and you can say as path, and it'll coerce it into a path right away. I don't know. Point is, there's a few different ways to represent shapes, and it's fun that it's working. Oh, right, I have to, this is not fig wheel. Oh, that's a problem. That's cool. I have the points in all the right spot, but my path, rectangle path, is twisted. So I need to fix that. And that's actually not too hard. I just need to go up here, back into here. Rectangle path. I need to just flip this one and this one around, and that'll solve that problem. Should anyway. Why did it do that? Okay, save that. Path. Yes. Now, there we go. See, that's one tricky thing I've noticed or am realizing with SVG, right? It's graphical outputs, it's visual in nature. It's unless I'm just not that clever, there are some kind of visual gut check tests that I think are important. For example, what I just did there, I drew a thing that I was expecting to look like a rectangle, but it had a twist in it, right? And if I were automating that test, I don't know of an easy way to check if it's rendering correctly. Like there was no error. It correctly made a valid path shape. It was just invalid in the sense of what a rectangle actually means. Now, I guess you could go so far as to encode like a rectangle is 4 line segments, and then go into the mathematical definitions of like piecewise line functions and 90-degree constraints and all that. But I feel as if that's a little overkill for just visually confirming that your function outputs something that makes sense. But that's not to say you shouldn't do other forms of testing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to improve yet, but having a quick visual suite to look at things as you're changing the code is pretty nice. It's a little ugly, but it's a step in the right direction. But now I've not tested these at all yet. I want to see what Bezier looks like. You wonder if you could utilize named parameters to ensure that the points are always processed in the right order. So like lower left, lower right, etc. That is a good point. I'm trying to think of the problems with that, and I can't think of problems with that, really. I mean, effectively what you're suggesting is instead of using a vector, right, that is a set of 4 points, instead you do a map, and yeah, so it would be I don't know, something like bottom left value, bottom right value, top right value, top left value. And then every function that requires a rectangular thing would be expecting, you could do keys destructuring like this, and just do BL, BR, TR, TL, like that. So it's possible. I don't know that it's necessarily, I'm not sure that it's necessary to go that structured with everything. Maybe I'll bite my tongue later, or maybe I'll eat my words would be the correct statement there. I don't know, but I don't want to mapify every single thing and have things be really confusing to follow in the code as well. Like, I don't want to overscope things. This is kind of intended to be, okay, if you know the things that you can do with SVG, you could pretty quickly learn how to use this. And intuitively, the user, I would prefer that the user can put in lists of points exactly like this instead of having to map things up themselves, you know? It would require the user to build that up with the correct keys. You could parse the info way easier. Yeah. So I understand those benefits. I do think the usability of the functions themselves for geometry stuff is really important. And it's a tricky balance between being clear and verbose with the options you provide and the speed of typing them out as you're thinking of designs in your head. Does that make sense? Like, I know probably one of the best examples ever is AutoCAD commands for entering and working with visual things. And it works basically, what's a good example? I don't have a good example right now. Anyway, you want to balance things, right? Like if you say up top when someone's just learning to use the library, oh, points are always 2D, lists of points are necessary to make polygons and polylines, people will really start to understand things pretty quick. And for what it's worth, something like rectangle, you can see it takes a W and H. Well, I mean, presumably you're going to know, okay, W is width and height is H. And then you can see the output, width and height, and then the X and Y positions and so on. So there's a lot that it does in the background anyway. I feel like I've hit a pretty decent balance. That's fair. I don't use SVG stuff much, so you'd know better than me what a typical use case would be. Well, so your point is totally valid. I'm just making a choice about how I think the library would be used best. So you know what I mean? Like, you're not wrong even a little bit. Sometimes over-engineer, so take things with a grain of salt. So it's totally an important thing to consider. And I think I'm learning more and more that, like, the art side of doing some library development is making thoughtful decisions about those sorts of things. And once you've made the choice, knowing when a choice was totally wrong and switching, or knowing when the choice is actually a good one and defending the choice, right? It can be tough sometimes, but I think in this case I hit a pretty good medium. Plus, I mean, I still have to put doc strings on some of the more confusing things to make it clear. But honestly, like if you type circle and you see, oh, the argument is R, if you don't know what R is, it's really quick to see what it is once you type it and try it, right? And I'm okay with that. I like it that way. All right, let's try to see what's wrong with my work. So let's turn this circle path back into just a normal circle. Let's make sure that the pipeline's working still. Yeah, okay, so that's okay. All right, let's draw a Bezier curve just for kicks. And I want to use... Don't need that right now. The tabs are too tiny. That's okay. Here, I'll just use one of these as an example. Type it in here myself. So let's put it up front too. Okay. Bezier. So what's good? What's good? just do this. Ooh, what's I have to do it this way. They're expecting points. So this is totally untested. We'll see how it all turns out. 10 10 20 20. Ooh. 40 20. 50 10. Let's see what's going on with this. Did it not build? Oh. I do this a lot. I leave stuff in the REPL unevaluated, and then when I send whole forms to it, it doesn't run it all the time. Oh, suppose it didn't work. What did I miss here? Well, let's run this in the REPL, see what's up. It does generate a path. Okay, that's good. So I just did something wrong. Oop. There we go. Oh, it's a small Bezier, but it actually works. It even translates and rotates successfully. That's really satisfying. Okay, man. Some of these things are actually easier than I expected them to be, which is super exciting. I'm gonna get myself some coffee and go to the bathroom for a minute. I will be right back. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Hope everyone's doing okay. I'll be right back. All right. Think you're going to bed? Hey, no problem. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the time you spent here. I hope you can get some sleep, Green Coder. All the best, and good luck with your CSS library with the Girouette. Okay. Let's see what's up with this now. Oh, I should also, so there's different arities for Bezier curves too. And I need to do this, this. Yeah, that, it's small. Maybe I should increase the size of this a little bit. Let's double everything. Except that 80, 40. We'll just make up our own things. Oh, that's strange looking now. That's okay though. Okay, so if I pull this back in, yeah, thanks for stopping by for sure. Oh, did something mess up, or am I just losing my mind here? No, we're good. I'm wondering if I should come up with a way to so for debug type stuff, for every element that you can draw, have a little bit of a, like, have a method that pulls particular points only, so that you can render out control points and endpoints and stuff like that. That's probably a good idea to have, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I don't really need it at the moment. What would be cool, so this is where, so there's still stuff to work out. I don't have complete solutions for everything yet. I have partial Bezier. Oh, it's not right. You're not going to be able to see it. SVG CLJ dot path slash partial. Right? Oh. Oh, they're probably private. Right. Anyway, what was I saying? There are situations with the path command where you have it's a good example. Curve commands. Okay, so here there's there's a quadratic Bezier curve and a cubic Bezier curve. And for each of those, there's a implicit version. And what that just means is, so this S, for example, is a quadratic Bezier curve that must follow another S or Q command. So it's a dependent command. It must follow something that has oh, sorry, another C command, not S. So there's a little bit of trickiness I have to think about, how to make it a usable sort of thing. The reason it's valuable is for a situation like this here. So a normal Bezier curve, a normal cubic Bezier curve takes 4 values: its start point, its first control point, second control point, and its end point. So the first one is implicit, so you have to pass in 3 points. The way I've written it up, you pass in 4 and it puts the M at the front. The other thing is, right, so the other version of that is you get to drop another thing, so it takes only 2 points because the first control point is also implicit, not just the end point. So it basically takes the mirror of one of the control points from the previous thing. So it's a useful tool, and I don't know how to conveniently wrap that into what I'm working on. That's the struggle I've got, at least for now. Yeah, so don't know how to solve that one yet, but I'll get there one day. Another little thing I'd like to do while I'm thinking about it is do I have merge here? Merge. Need that. Let's eval that. Bezier append point. That's actually not a bad idea. Let me note suggestion from Green Coder regarding Bezier function that Bezier that appends to existing Bezier append point, like that. Thanks for that. That's not a bad idea. The little wrinkle, and maybe this is a non-issue entirely, actually, now that I think of it. I was going to say path, every single thing that you can make in a path, you can combine into a single path string as well. So whatever Bezier append there is, it has to work with, like, you have to be able to append it to any built up path that a user has done. So it could be full of lines, polylines, polygons, and other junk, you know, and then you want to append Beziers to it. So I don't want to over structure things, but I have to consider how that would interact with all the existing stuff, you know. But I think it's not a bad idea. Like, maybe just have a little Bezier building tool built into the rest of it. And then once you built up a Bezier, then you pass that into the rest of your path. So it's almost like a little subsection of the code. Does that make sense? Maybe it makes sense. I don't know. What I want to try here is merge paths. And this should, let's see here. Let's do 100, 100. And then we'll do 80, 80. And this should, if it works, make a square with the hole cut out. Yes, it does. Man, that's satisfying too. So this is really exciting to me. This seems simple, but it's super exciting to me because one of the reasons I care so much about tools that make good SVG images is because I do 3D and 2D CAD. So I want to make automated CAD tools more and more, and SVG for web is pretty nice. And if you can make shapes like this, you can start to make good technical drawings. So that I can do path elements and merge them and do stuff like that is extremely exciting. it'll be fun to get into more advanced approaches where I actually cut and union and do difference and stuff like that. This is just a simple string concatenation merge. So the reason that this is like that is because the fill rule is even odd. So I could change it. If I look at this here and I turn off, well, let me get inside for a second. Right, this fill rule here. Oops. If I just get rid of that, it'll render filled in. Raycat, who dat? Good to see you. Do you use any languages for quick scripts or text processing? CSV files and the like, if so, what? So I used to do Python for that sort of thing. It's always a good go-to. I've experimented with Clojure doing that. So in particular, there's a tool that's more and more popular in Clojure called Babashka. So this is Michiel, the creator of Babashka. It's a tool that lets you do scripting with Clojure directly. So I've been doing that a little bit more recently. But if you're looking for a recommendation, Python is always a good place to start. Or learn Bash and do it directly with Bash. That's also a cool way to do it. Do you do that already and you're just curious what other people do, or are you looking for a place to start? So funny you ask about CSV files. I've been messing around. It's not anywhere near done. I have this work in progress Clojure thing. You were specifically looking for Emacs users' opinions? Oh, okay, I see. Because eLisp should be the thing, but unfortunately it ain't. What do you mean eLisp should be the thing? Like we should all learn to do eLisp text processing? Is that what you mean? So unfortunately, I'm not what you would call. Oh, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. I must have lost what you meant. Yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding a little bit what you're asking. So apologies if I am. You're asking about CSV though. I'm messing around with a little thing that opens up Excel spreadsheets. So if you use Emacs, ideally you should be able to use eLisp to handle all the system admin stuff and text processing. But there are some caveats and limitations. That's certainly true. And it would be appealing to be able to use one tool for everything like that. I personally am not enough of a power user to really know or spend a ton of time setting it up that way, if that makes sense. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Emacs, but I haven't like hitched my wagon to everything Emacs, if that makes sense. That's way more out of lazy pragmatism, pragmatic laziness, than me liking any tool in particular. Parse a CSV file via eLisp. I would imagine that there is some CSV files eLisp, but I suppose you were Ray, you were just asking about CSV as an example, not CSV specifically, I guess, eh? Anyway, whatever. So for a lot of yeah, not specifically. what I've found myself doing lately, a lot of the file manipulation type stuff that I've had to do is related to getting something into a format that a Clojure program of mine can read and then spit out to another file that a different program can then read. So ingest something into Clojure, do stuff with Clojure, spit out something into some next thing. And so that sounds a lot like kind of scripts and pipes, right? So for a lot of that stuff, I've started to just build up little scripts using Babashka. And I'm no expert, right? So if I want to, one thing I'm looking to improve is building better CLI interfaces. But the whole idea for me, and at least for some of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm just going to capture the logic in a script, make sure it works okay, and keep going with stuff like that. I just like to use a single language for most stuff. So if that's the goal, I kind of wonder if that might never happen in our lifetime, but I don't want to predict the future. I have found that I have less and less reason to go outside of Clojure other than for pure interest. I've been able to do everything I've really needed to do in Clojure, and I'm really happy with it. That's partly a function of me wanting to do a lot of stuff in Clojure, if that makes sense. Just like I bet you could do everything in eLisp, though you're going to be facing a bit of uphill battle. But anyway, this is my approach. If for what it's worth, make some scripts in Clojure. Make sure they run anywhere in my terminal. Feel like you can't be proficient at the 3-ish languages I'd use on the daily. Mental overload. Yeah, that's part of the trick, right? So I learned I'm self-taught as a programmer, so I was starting with. Well, I mean, technically I learned a bit of C++ in undergrad, but not very well. Same with MATLAB, we learned just enough to be a little bit dangerous, that kind of thing. So when I started learning for the purpose of getting away from VBA script in like arcane Excel spreadsheets at work, I started learning Python. And then I found myself wondering how to do good object-oriented programming, and I never figured it out. And around that time, I realized, okay, I should probably learn a language or two to be a little more serious. And I landed on Clojure as a cool language to learn, and I haven't walked away from it. And so Python and Clojure are kind of the happy mediums, but my long-term goals is to be comfortable with concepts enough that whatever language becomes less of a problem, if that makes sense. Flashback to VB6. Oh no. I'm so sorry. All right, let's see what can I add to this little basics page here. What's a good idea? See what you're getting after. You could definitely write an eLisp program to parse some text files, tweak it in various ways. Emacs is written in eLisp. Lets you parse and modify files. There's certainly a way. It's just a matter of how much effort you want to put into going down the rabbit hole. Isn't that always the case? So it goes, right? What else would be cool to plop in here? I kind of wonder. Oh, excuse me. Before I really go to sleep, what's the window manager? I like it. This is Yabai. Yabai. Oh boy. I guess it's there you go. So you can the way I've configured it is the laziest possible way. Basically no configuration. You can configure this alongside some other scripting stuff to make it way more user-friendly than I do. But this is what it is. Yabai, Kukaisha on, doesn't that mean danger or something? I'm not sure, it could. Let's see, maybe they've, well, here, let's, German. Oh, I don't want English. Yeah, dangerous. You got it. Not sure why it's called dangerous, but well, it might be. So you do have to turn off a certain like protection feature a little bit. Oh, I like it too. You can, so with more customization work, you can make your computer look really nice. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it on this Mac. I'm moving in the middle of next month, and once I'm settled, I want to get a new computer and build a Linux workstation, and then I'll customize that one. Not that I dislike Mac or anything; it's totally fine. But this is I got it used, and it works just fine. But I want a little more power for streams and video edits and stuff like that. Okay. Right. I should come up with one more thing to put in here as an example, maybe. Ooh. This might be fun. Got to get that Linux i3. Oh, gradients? Oh man, gradients are, so it's a good idea. Gradients are a surprising pain in the butt when it comes to SVG. You have to do a pattern definition somewhere in the SVG, and then you have to give it an ID, and then you have to refer to the ID in a URL. Hey Ray, got to get back to work. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. Maybe I'll see you around. No pressure, of course, but hope your day goes well. I would love to learn how to use the SVG patterns. Yeah, I would too. I'm half joking. I mean, I've used them before, but it's like, it's a little strange. So you can define SVG patterns, and if it's somewhere in the DOM, you can use it in any SVG element as long as it is also wrapped in an SVG tag. But the gradients won't show up if you make that particular SVG display none, then it won't load the gradients. You have to do something like display and then set its position somewhere way out of the screen if you want to put all your pattern defs in one place. And the reason you would, like, you kind of need to store them globally like that, because as far as I understand it, the only way to access them is through pattern ID, and then you do background fill URL and then hash that ID. It's weird. So here's an example. So it's weird, but it is powerful. So here, right, you pass the SVG, you give the defs thing here, and then there's a few things you can put in here. Linear gradient is a good example of one. You can put any SVG element in there. You could do circles, you can do groups, so you could make a really complex group thing to put in there, and then you just reference it here, fill URL dash whatever. The weirdest thing is related to sizing things for when it repeats. It's confusing. It's all nice and important, but it's not a feature I'm going to focus on up front. It'll be something with, once a few of these other drawing features are stabilized, then I can work on that sort of thing. But it's totally possible. The nice thing too is my library does just spit out basically hiccup data structures. So you can, if you're using my library in, say, a reagent thing, you can still make all of your own stuff. So you can already use patterns if you know how to structure them. It'll work. It's just not currently built in as a tool. Right. Anyway. Right. So I wanted to mess around with the animation tag and see if that's actually easy to use or hard to use. I've messed with it before, but I don't remember how tough it is. Right, so So you can nest animate elements inside of other elements with a particular attribute. I mean, that could be neat. So if I wanted to incorporate this, I would have to adjust the logic a little bit with how I build. Wait, would I? Now I have to back myself up and check this. Just trying to think about how I would do this. What time is it? Well, okay, that's gonna be a thing for another day. For kicks now, I want to actually switch over to, let's close this. Yeah, kill it anyway. All right, animations can wait for another time. I think it'd be fun to put them in for sure, but they are less important than getting everything else sorted out. So, yeah, kill it anyway. Menger. I want to see if I'm smart enough to make a little Menger. Is it Menger or Menger? Menger sponge in OpenSCAD, because that could be a lot of fun. So to do that, let's start up the watcher. Why not? Why not? Oh, Menger sponge. What files do I have in here? Is the watcher ready to go? Oh, I put it in the wrong source. There we go. Okay. I think I made that file. right? Okay, looks like it. Open SCAD. Ba-da-da-ba, ba-da-da-da. There we go. Let's open the file. So because I export all of my SCAD files just to out.scad, but I do it in a bunch of different projects, my recent my recent history becomes totally meaningless because I can never pick which one is the one I'm working on. It's ridiculous in the best way. Okay. Let's do the Menger sponge. So someone commented on my latest YouTube video saying, "Oh, you should try to do a Menger sponge," and I thought, "Oh, that's actually a really cool idea. Let's see what I can do." This doesn't exist. Did I not do anything? Let's see. Design. Huh, is it not building anything? Oh, it's probably, I probably need to do block 100. Don't even know what that is. I'll pull up a Wikipedia. I'll show you in a minute. It is pretty cool. What happened to OpenSCAD, please? OpenSCAD? There we go. Okay. Now we're cooking. I will show you. I will give context. I promise. This is still the Mario block, but I just am using that as a starting point, not as a necessity. Let's do this. Okay. So, never mind. Jeez, okay. All right, fine. Menger sponge. So it's a recursive 3D structure. So it's a cube that has the middles punched out, and then you recursively fill all of the other cubes with those cubes, and smaller and smaller and smaller. You iterate through. So here's a good example of the iteration, or even this one. So you can see this might even be rendered in OpenSCAD for all I know. It's an achievable project. It shouldn't be too bad. If my brain's thinking recursively, that's maybe the hardest thing for me. Yeah, it is pretty cool, right? This is what it looks like if you slice it on the diagonal. Perfect stars. You can slice it on another diagonal and it'll actually look like hexagons. It's a cool structure. They're doing finite element analysis on it. Cool. That's a paper example, but that's pretty neat. Hurts your eyes to look at too long. Yeah, that's often the case with anything that has a fractal nature to it, right? It just goes on to infinity and it hurts both your eyes and your brain a little bit. Anyway, so the real deal here is to make let's see if I can be clever with it. I might not be able to be that clever today. I don't promise that it's gonna go well. But I do promise I'll try. So to begin, what shall I do? Now you got it. First try sponge incoming. We'll see. We will see. I know I can get it for sure. It's just might be a slow brain kind of thing, you know? That's okay. We'll see. So I only ever want to go to a limited number of iterations. I don't want to infinitely iterate because that's just bad news. Really, nobody needs that. Let's also pop the REPL for this one too. So what I think I'll do is I'll start with just manually putting the structure in place for the first iteration of a Menger sponge. I don't think that'll be too difficult, just to get the first bit of it, you know. Let's make the REPL go over there. There we go. Okay. So to start it, okay, so like I said, let's start with literally the simplest thing, right? Let's let the object be a cube of size W, right? Yeah, that'll be fine for now. And then well, actually, so let's do W, and then we'll do N as the nth iteration. So the cube size should actually be well, we'll start with W divided by N, because I think I want to perform a scaling thing over every iteration, but I'll have to see about that. The only reason I'm hesitating is since I do width divided by the nth iteration, the only reason that's a potential problem is if N is 0, then this is going to break, right? Because you can't divide by 0. So I think I might be doing this wrong, but do it wrong, get some code in place, and then figure it out from there. That's okay. So the object is some cube of some size. That means all of the positions are just going to be a list of three-dimensional things, right? Three-dimensional points, which I'll do bottom, middle, top row. Is that a good idea? We'll go with it. So it'll be 0, 0, 0. There's a smarter way to do this, right? 4. Let's do it the dumb way, like I keep saying. Dumb way is fine. Right. So this whole the whole first row is 0 everywhere, right? So it's 1 0 0 2 0 0. Oh, wait a minute. Let's try it. Okay, so for x is 0 1 2, y also 0 1 2, and z is 0 1 2. That gives us a, I don't want to manually type everything. Turns out I am going to be lazy. Right, so that's, how many things is that? That should be 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27, right? Yeah. Right, so it's just going to be easier to make the entire list, put them into a set, and remove the, well, I don't even need to put them in a set, do I? I just need to remove the specific set of them instead. And in fact, I can do Menger pattern. I'll just leave it, I don't need to deafen it right now. Although, no, here, I should. I'm popping all over the place. Sorry if this is a little confusing. Right, so what I want to do is create, let's do the let positions be that for loop I came up with. For x, y, 0 1 2, z, 0 1 2. Oops, that's not the right syntax. There we go. Right, so for all of those, just spit back x, y, z. How many are excluded? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclusions in total. So I could just do this. Exclusions, make it a set of those 7 things. So we'll do the middle exclusion would be the middle on the bottom layer would be 0 in z, 1 in x, and 1 in y. And then the top one, the top exclusion would be like that. And then the other 4 are going to be all around z1. So we're going to have 1 0 1. 1 1 1 is the exact middle. That's nice and simple. Then 1 2 1. Then 0 1 1, and then 2 1 1. I think those are all the exclusions. Right, so then I can do this for x, y, z. Instead of, this should not necessarily be n, I'm going to make it some scale factor. And I'll just do this. When complement exclusions, which means, so you can use a set as a predicate, which just means if you pass a set in as a predicate, it means if the thing you pass in is already in the set, you return the thing, which is equivalent to true. So complement of exclusions means only when the 3D point is not in the exclusions, only then do you actually perform something. So it should, when this is all done, just give me 20 positions I think. We'll see if I'm correct. I'm just questioning the name of this variable, if it should be W. I'll make, I don't know. I'll figure that out later. That's okay. That'll be fine. So when complement exclusions, now I want to do map W times whatever. I'll do map V. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this is gonna work. That's the for loop done. There's that. Oh, you know what? I don't need to. I can change this up just a smidge here. Instead of wrapping that part in the let at all, there we go, and just return that directly. Let's try it. So if I do Menger pattern size 1, let's count it. It should be 20. Ooh, I did something wrong. Okay, well, let's change this then. Let's do oh, I didn't actually pass anything into this. I need to do this. Oop. I'm capable. I just got the Friday brain. Okay. What? I'm just messing something up here. My brain is not following how this is supposed to work yet. Okay, so let's not. I totally. What am I missing here? There must be. Oh, no. Wait. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so let's do. Let's change it up after all. Let's do this. So I actually see what I'm doing. Positions. For all that. Just return X, Y, Z. Nice and easy. And now here, let's try filter. Right? Now let's try this. Complement. Exclusions. Oh, wait a minute. I should be able to pass it like this, actually. I think this will work. The when probably would have worked. I probably needed to do not in that case instead of the function. That's probably what it was. And to test my theory, I will rewrite it again in a minute. I just want to see if this will work at all. So filter complement exclusions over the list of positions. And let's count that. There we go. Okay, so it's filtering. That's good. Now let's change the name of the game for a minute and redo this as I wanted to do it initially. It's not a big deal to change it up, I don't think. Should be fine. Okay. When not exclusions, right? When not exclusions, then you do map v times w x, y, z. Let's try that. Count it. Ugh, still got it wrong. I'll admit I'm surprised by that. Let me think about this. Well, let's def this. Okay, so now let's just do right, so it not maybe it's okay. I think here's me being a goof. It's got the nils in it. That's what it's counting the nils. So it's working. I just yeah. Silly of me. So let's I wish when wouldn't. I'm pretty sure when not actually exists, so we can clean that up just a smidge. Okay, so that's a good start. I just have to filter this by complement nil. I feel like I'm missing an approach that's actually cleaner when it comes to filtering nils like that. Okay, that's looking correct though. All right, there we go. So now let's let the positions be the Menger pattern of size W, sure. And then let's try for pause in positions. Take the object and translate it to position. Right? Cube. Oh, I didn't load the namespace. There we go. Need to do that. Cube block is not correct. Menger sponge, please. There we go. Now this should work. Oh, I need this first as well. All right. So, I should, I'm not sure this is going to render correctly, but let's put it in there and see what it looks like anyway. Did it break? I think it broke. Oh, I didn't pass. Jeez, being a goose. Hey, there we go. Okay, that's actually the nth. That's actually working. That's good. So that's a start. Let's get rid of the block here. I don't actually need it. Oh, although it would be fun. I can use it. Sweet. Oh boy, see that? It already chugs a bit. You know what? Let's FN 3. Oh boy, still pretty hefty. That's great. So the cool thing is, if I think about it, I could actually make it. I could pattern it. Oh, that's a junk sphere because I put this down to 3. A Menger blob. The sphere, it should actually be W divided by 2. And I do need to... Where is the block being rendered right now? Where's that coming from? Please let me know. Oh, it's in the assembly here. No thanks. Actually, I don't need it right now. Let's just get rid of it. Got it first try. Well, it's not quite done yet. This is just the first. It's not iterating yet. That's the thing to still watch for. But it's a good start. It looks. It doesn't look as cool, honestly, with just spheres like that, in my humble opinion. Right. So let's just make it a block. And here, it actually should be union, everything inside the for loop. Oh, I made the block half the, that's cool, but that's not what I meant to do. Cube and W proper. Oh, www. World Wide Web, baby. There we go. See, that's not chugging all that much. That's good. Neighbors are dropping things. Oh well, no big deal. Show edges. Hey, it's kind of cool. Like a Rubik's Cube with no center, basically. Okay, so the real thing here is now I do need I originally had this like this, didn't I? So that shouldn't change anything, but if I do this, that should shrink the cubes, which is what I want. Ooh, and it should actually be not half. That's not correct. It would have to be, is it half? I don't think it's half. It would be it shrinks cubically, right? So it would be third. Yeah. Oh, so I could actually divide it by n times 1 over 3, right? I think that makes sense. And then instead of what did I do wrong? Oh, it would be divided by 3, not 1 over 3. I'm multiplying it then. So there's two things that are wrong in this case, right? It would be here, it's not just W, it has to be okay, so that's one. Let's just make sure I'm actually scaling things correctly. So let's do the first Menger step. Clear as mud, that is. I'm not sure that I did it right either. Let's see. Let's at least translate this. That's not the right position, but let's just, okay, so I'm still off. Right, see, it's still too big. It's, why is it wrong? What did I do wrong here? 3. Oh, it has to be divided by, my brain's losing focus here. No, this is right. Is it actually supposed to be divided by 6? My brain's not functioning correctly here. I mean, I guess that ends up being exactly the same, doesn't it? Oh, something went wrong too. I broke it. What did I do this time? Right, that's just still scaling them both proportionally the same. That's not it. Shrinking by 4, is that what it is? I'm just being silly. Let's try it. I'm getting to that slightly tired part of the day where the let's just try it mentality's coming in. Same. Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad way to end a week of hard work. Really, I mean, it could be worse. Okay, but I would like to try and think of this for a second. So the other way that might make sense is so clearly no matter what values I use, if they're all the same, right, the proportion is always preserved. So I'm not shrinking it proportionally correctly. Although that does look really nice to just nest them inside each other. That isn't at all what I was actually intending. Where's the cube? Did I break it again? So the 0th iteration should be just a cube of size W. That's what I want. Here, let's change it. Let's let new width be for any new iteration, right? It's going to be n times 1/3 no. N shouldn't matter in this case. It should always be W divided by 3, right? I think. Right, so new width, new width, new width. Then the positions are also new width, right? Okay, let's try that just to start. Menger 101. Okay, so that's staying the right size. The position I'll worry about later. Then let's do, where's it going there? Menger 102. I want it to be, oh, maybe it's there, it's just tiny. I didn't do it right. Oh no, okay, so boy, right, so okay, so this is how you get the new width, but the new width every time you have to iterate, right? So, oh man, okay. When you start with your seed width and the total number of iterations that you want to do. I'm going to assume n is always 1 or more integers. I'm not going to worry about that for now. So the first thing you're going to do is here what you need is actually the object passed in, and this and this and this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the object in this case is not defined here. You get new width is that, and the new object is just scale one over 3, right? I think that's fine. Except, oh man, this shouldn't be this hard. I'm just not thinking very clearly right now. You could actually do, let's try this. So you've got width and some scale number, right? No, actually, width and n. Okay, so there's two things here. So the scale value is always, I can actually just make it the new width always. So when n is 1, that's fine. So the new width is always, hey, Mai and Melly, hopefully I got your name right. Thanks for following. I appreciate that. I'm nearing the end of my smart brain for the day. So sorry if you've tuned in for looking for expert work. I'm just messing around a little bit at this point, but glad you followed. Appreciate that. I hope you're well. I sometimes people follow and they don't talk, and that's okay. But then I say thanks, and I actually don't know if they're listening. I'm just going to assume they are, and I appreciate it. So the new width is just going to be width divided by 3 times n. No problem, I'm listening. Oh, thanks. I didn't mean to shame you into talking or anything. No pressure. Just I was observing that sometimes, well, yeah, I actually don't know. Sometimes people might click follow and not be there actively. It doesn't matter. Oh, I did shame you? I'm sorry. Well, no, just kidding. Okay, good. What brings you here? Do you use Clojure yourself, or other languages, or just popping in to see what's up? Always like to know what brings people in, you know? So what you could do theoretically with this pattern maker is map cat size 100 that, and then ink range 5. No, not sure if it'll work. Cannot. Range cannot be cast to. What? What did I do wrong here? Ink range 5. Range 5. Oh. What? Oh, I'm just being silly. I would have to do it here. So let's just do range 5, which is 0 to 0 to 4. Let's do ink inside here. Just browsing Twitch. Thought it was interesting. Nice stream. Well, thank you. That's nice. I appreciate that. I try. Ooh, that's cool. Is that right? That's the question. I don't think that's right. Oh yeah, right. I'm never using the new width here. Anyway, thanks. I'm glad you think it's interesting. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best to get more interesting, you know, like Twitch takes time to learn how to be an interesting person. Like, does that even make sense? Never mind. Just ignore me. Let's make this a float. Hey, hideous ugly numbers. Okay, well, let's try that. So there's one other thing I have to put in here. So the pattern is scaling appropriately, I think. Not quite, technically. This is not complete, but this will get me one of each iteration, so it's helping me think about it a little bit anyway. Oh boy, I'm running out of time. That's okay. I'll finish off this little thought, and then I'll go for the day after that. Right. So if I put into here a fourth value, that's the new scale, which is going to be 1 over 3 times n. Then, if I take this, I can theoretically do a map thread last cube of size 100 times change this up. Let's turn this into a map. Can make it W right away, actually. Let's just do it that way. It's maybe easier. No idea if this is going to be right, but it's helping me think about the problem, so I'm going to keep going with it. So this generates with mapcat a whole long list of positions and scales. So what I want to do is pass some object through that list where I scale it and position it in the new spot in its new position every time. It's not going to be correct, but it's going to be a representation of some of the iterations. The next thing I'll have to do, and I won't get to it this stream, I'll have to rework it so that it recursively places the new shrunken object in all of the correct positions, and then does it again and again and again. So you're infinitely, until you hit the stopping point, building out the sponge. Anyway, none of that's happening today, but it's a good starting point. So cube 100 times the, we don't even need to do it that way. We can just do width from the map like this, then translate it to let's just change this to position instead. There. To position of the thing. And that should actually be it. Oh, I just want to map it actually to the map cat there. Hey. What did I do wrong? Oh, map entry cannot be cast to number. I messed something up. Let's take this. Oh. Right. There we go. That should be good. There it is. Now let's try this. Ooh, spicy. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Broke, I think. Something's wrong here. Oh. We're kind of getting there. Well, okay, so that's gonna have to be good enough for me for now. I'm gonna have to get going. I hope everyone has a really good weekend. I'm gonna be heading out. Would have been really nice to get this fully recursive and done, but this is a good starting point, and I think I'll make this into a YouTube video instead. That'll probably be pretty fun. Seems like a worthwhile pursuit to do it that way. Before I go, I will show you what my YouTube page looks like because I want you to go visit it. If you're watching this and you're wondering if you could see some other stuff that I work on, youtube.com/c/AdamJames-TV, and this is me. This is some of my videos. And I'm going to do my best to keep uploading. Usually Clojure programming stuff, but I like building things as well, and drawing and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be uploading interesting stuff there. So consider giving it a watch. Mike, yeah, you have a nice weekend too, and everyone else, of course. Will I be here on Monday? Let me have a quick look at my calendar. I think the answer is yes. So the answer is yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone reading the chat, there's a link to the YouTube channel too. You can check it out. Thanks, Mike, for posting that. I will be here on Monday. I'll be able to make that work after all. So that's a nice change too. So yeah, still getting closer to moving time, but I'm still going to make it work while I can. Should be fun. All right. That's going to be enough for me for the weekend. I hope anyone watching this has a good weekend themselves. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get going, and I will be back on Monday, and we'll take it from there. Bye, everyone.